Don't you just hate it when you spend a lot of money on steak at the butcher, you get it back to your house and you overcook it? This is the 4 ways that chefs know their steak is done. The 4 techniques I'm going to show you, very simple. So we're going to go through them first. Probably the most primitive and basic ways that people tell if their steaks are cooked. Through timing. And then we're just going to start by searing it off in a pan, a nice hot pan. It's about 2 minutes per inch on each side. So this steak, for example, about 2 inches thick. It means that once it's seared, I'm going to give it 2 and 2 in the oven. When I say 2 and 2, it means I'm going to flip it halfway and then I'm going to rest it. I want to cook all of my steaks to medium rare because that's how I like to cook it. Obviously that will change, that time will change if you like it more cooked. But as medium rare, as a basic, I think this is a really good guide. So really nice hot pan. It will come out, I'm confident, at a perfect medium rare. Obviously the reason that we can get a really nice crust in the restaurant is because we've got much more powerful grills. I'm trying to do this in a pan so it demonstrates the sort of temperature that you need to do it at home. But essentially, if you're not cooking a steak at home and you're not fatally worried about setting off your fire alarm, your pan is probably not hot enough. So get the windows open, get the extract on, and that is probably the right amount of temperature you need to get the type of sear that I'm getting right now. Okay, so what we've done, realistically in the pan now, that's been about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes each side. And then to get to our medium rare, base timing, 2 inches, 2 minutes each side. Simple. Crucially with the oven, when we're sort of talking about ovens during service, they're normally set to about 180 degrees. If you think about how much the door gets open throughout service, it's actually probably more like 160 degrees. It's been 2 minutes, I flipped it and it's going back in. Another 2 minutes, then we'll rest it and see what temp it comes up to. Feels perfect, to be honest. I'm gonna whack that in my drawer to rest. Rest it for about 10 minutes. 2 minutes each side for 2 inches worth of steak. Oh! Quiz. Aiden, judge my quiz. This was done with a timing method. 2 minutes each side, 2 inches thick seared steak. What do you think? What's the verdict?
Heavy.
It is pretty spot on,
Medium
isn't
rare's
it?
bang on. A little bit of a grey line, but...
What?
that
Aiden's
is
a
perfect.
perfectionist, sir. Right. The next method that we're going to talk about is touch. So we've got our steak, we've got our nice hot pan. We're going to go straight into it. And now this is one of those, almost like, I don't want to say an old wives' tale, but when we put these videos up online, we get a lot of comments from chefs being like, oh, using a probe is cheating, I do it by feel. And to be honest, there's a good amount of truth to it that it's probably worth talking about. I think if you've cooked steaks all your life and you know exactly what you're doing, you can definitely feel the doneness of your steak just by touching it. But there's some important things to consider with that. That's well done. And you put this finger down, then you put this finger. What is it? Don't get that. So this thumb goes to the little finger. That's well done. That's medium well. That's medium rare, and then that's rare. I'm going to show you a fatal problem with that. Aiden, hold out your hand. I've got big fat hands. Aiden's got big thin hands.
Big skinny ones.
Big skinny hands. So herein lies the problem of the hand technique. And obviously that has just now had a huge amount of heat. And what I feel like at the moment is it's like one big ball of energy that's just, there's almost no way that you're going to be able to discern what temperature that is right now. So you need to let it chill out and rest. Really what I'm looking for now is to validate this test. So I'm feeling here, it's absolutely definitely not that strong, but it is incredibly soft. It's probably a little bit softer than the fat part of my hand. And I can tell that because when I press, the meat doesn't return in any way, shape, form. It leaves an indent almost. So I know that steak's rare. I'm just gonna give that 2 minutes in the oven. Tiny little flash to bring that up to medium rare, which is our desired temperature. Oh wow. Actually, look, check that one out, bad boy. Look.
That's better than the last one.
That's even as hell. That was just with my fat hand.
Oh, really?
Just with my very simple fat hand.
Just with the ham hands. Trademark.
If it was your hand, it'd be overcooked. It'd be absolutely medium well, nailed. Probably one of the most bewildering things I've seen is going into 3 Michelin star kitchens and everyone being equipped with one of these rather than a trusty thermopen. There must be some validity to that, right? The best chefs in the world use them. It's really strange. I went to work in Core by Claire Smith, which is a 3 Michelin star restaurant, and they all, and in the Gordon Ramsay group as well. They all seem to use these things. Now, it's important to mention they don't just use it for steak; they use it for everything. So they can check, you know, if any of their garnish is hot internally. So, and also no batteries, cheap as chips. I think this was $1.99. The problem is it's quite hard to learn how to use, and I'm going to show you why. This piece of metal, once it's put inside the meat, is just for you to gauge the temperature. And very simply, you hold it up once you put it into the meat to your bottom lip, which is a very sensitive part of your body, and then you can discern the temperature of the meat inside. Really, really simply put, 48 degrees is medium rare. That is not hot to touch, it's just warm. If at any point this thing is hot when you're cooking a steak, you pretty much know that you've overcooked it because it's still got a rest at that point as well. So what you should be looking for is a beautiful, warm, sort of even temperature after the meat is rested. You can imagine, right? These guys on the line in these restaurants, they're using these things day in, day out. So they completely train themselves to use this metal poker. We'll add in our metal probe to check what temperature it's on, and then if it needs a little bit more heat, we'll give it a little flash. Or it might just be perfectly cooked and really beautiful and warm to touch, and then we'll cut it open to see if this little bad boy is as effective as most chefs think it is. I'm just going to leave it in there just so the metal can warm up, and then I place it gently and rub it across my bottom lip. Now, that is perfectly warm. It feels nice and even right into the center of the meat. If you see where I'm probing it, it's completely in the center, like right into the middle of that meat. And it feels perfectly warm. I think I would bet my fucking left nut that that's on 48 degrees, 47. Go on, 47, there we go, spot on. So you can feel as well, like that is nice and warm to touch. That's been resting for 10 minutes, so it's not cooled down that much. We often get questions about how do you reheat it after it's rested. It's like, you actually don't need to, you just need to put a nice hot sauce on it, and maybe we touch it under the salamander just to give it a tiny bit of surface heat, but inside there is, you know, it's not hot, it's just very delicate and warm. It does work, just takes a bit of practice. Luckily, you get to eat lots of steak whilst you practice, so it's a win-win. My preferred method, and this little bad boy is a Thermopen. I'm not sponsored by them, I just use this brand, so I'm happy to call them out. People think that the tip is the one that just has the sensor. It's not, it's actually the whole thing. And when you insert it into the meat, it will take a median temperature range by using the entire length of this sensor. Start off by giving it a really nice good sear. I don't think that people really understand when to use it, because if you take it off a grill, as soon as you've taken that steak off the grill, it will be pretty damn cold inside. It'll be like 36 degrees. And the rule of thumb that I always kind of give myself, which is what I'm looking for with this bad boy, is that basically when you take something and you put it down to rest, it's going to rest up about 8 degrees. So if I'm going for 48, I want to be probing my meat at about 40, 38. You can actually test the temperature on the outside of the meat. Basically, if your meat on the outside, you've got an insane crust on it, you know, it's 85, 95 plus, and it's reading really, really high, you basically have to assume that it's going to rest up even lower. So you could, if you've got a really good crust on your meat, you might actually even want to take it less internally and then just see what it comes up to. You can always probe it after 10 minutes and give it a flash if you think it's undercooked, or vice versa. Typically speaking, my advice to all the chefs when they start on the grill is take it lower, probe it very often, and then give it a flash if it needs a push to get to medium rare, 48 degrees. That's just come off the grill, right? It's just been searing. The meat has been sitting out a little bit, but what we're looking at there is, look, that is 27 degrees off the grill. So we know that basically, you know, that's gonna need a 2-minute little window in the oven to bring it up to our optimum sort of temperature, which is around about 36 to 38 degrees. So that is our medium rare, done with a probe. I mean, I've literally done that millions of times. As you can see, there's almost a perfect uniformity of colour. So they all work in their own different ways. The best way to learn is basically through a probe. If you understand how the temperature works inside the meat, if you understand that it's 38 and you're resting it up, eventually you can just do the touch method, because then you've sort of taught your muscles and your muscle memory how to react. The timing is basically just a general guide. It will change and it's very inconsistent. Cake tester, if you have a lot of steak or a lot of money to practice, is obviously really, really good. And I'm not dissing people who use them, because I know that it works and it's a very well tried and tested method that's been in existence for a long time. It's just not the best way to learn, because it's easy to make mistakes and steak costs a lot of money. So that was 4 techniques, all to get the doneness of steak. So if you're cutting your steak open, peeking inside, no excuse.